world of weather, chat about life, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note, hopefully getting a little bit of sunshine on your shoulder. At any rate, it's a lovely, lovely start to the day. Let's take a look outside, shall we? This is a live shot from our New Smyrna Beach tower cam. See a couple of people walking the jetty earlier, walking New Smyrna Beach when we had the tower camera pointed in the other direction. It's a clear sky and a nice cool morning. You can see those temperatures on the bottom of the screen. 57 degrees in Kissimmee, for example, right now. So no matter where you are, it looks great. It feels great. And let me tell you something. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful start to the day. That said, let's take a look and see top 2 things we are watching. First off, great stretch of weather, not just today, not just this morning, into this afternoon, the next couple of days. Then we get into some showers and thunder showers. We'll chat about that. And then let's talk about more chill moving this direction. It's going to be cold across the area, so get ready for it. At any rate, let's just take a live look outside now. First warning, live Doppler radar is scanning nice and quiet. Temperatures out the door. On the bottom, we see those official, the hourly temperatures. This map live updates, so it's like every 5 minutes we get new data. 59 in Orlando, 57 in Kissimmee. It's 48, though, in the Villages. It's 46 in Ocala. Yeah, 52 Daytona Beach. And what I always think is so funny is it's chilly, and people are still walking the beach. And I get it, because if I lived at the beach, you better believe my retired life, my retired tush, I'll be out in a dang parka walking that beach. When I've got no other responsibilities in the world, my mornings are starting in paradise. That's my forecast. All right, I digress. Shall we look ahead? Yeah, looks pretty nice. 67 by 11 o'clock, into the mid-70s by 1, and high temperatures today making it into the upper range of the 70s. I'm wearing shorts today, but I've got the long sleeves, mainly because I get chilly. I was telling Jeannie this morning, like, do I look like a fool wearing shorts and long sleeves? Because no matter what I do, I get cold. I know it's make funnable, but it is what it is. So, at any rate, maybe I do look like a fool. You tell me. Maybe I do look like a fool. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first person to tell me that. All right, let's look at temperatures across Central Florida this afternoon. Obviously, 78 is our high temperature in Orlando. Average high temperature 74, so we're above the average. Not so bad, though, right? 77 degrees today, Leesburg and Claremont. 79 in Ocala. Low to mid-70s back over to the area beaches. It is an absolutely lovely, lovely setup. Let's look at the wider perspective. Quiet across Florida. Let's look to the southeastern United States. High pressure in control all over the deep south. Wider shot showing a new storm system developing across the nation's midsection, starting to see a little bit of snow out over New Mexico. And believe it or not, that is kind of our weather player moving forward, okay? Here we are, nice and mild for today. Look out west, though. That storm system over New Mexico starts to gear up into something else. That is going to be a frontal boundary that starts to move our direction. Thursday, we warm. Wednesday, we warm. Friday, we're getting our next storm system. It's a cold front. It'll bring with it a few showers. Doesn't look like it's going to be, thankfully, anything too feisty, but it does approach us. So take a look, okay? Just to put it into perspective, next couple of days, we're going to be approaching records, though I do not think we're going to be getting 2 records. 80 degrees Wednesday, nowhere near the record. 83 Thursday, probably not going to be anywhere near that. Friday, in the ballpark-ish. Still don't think we're going to be getting to records, but in the vicinity. Beverly says you've lost so much weight you have to take what goes with it. That's true. I never used to get cold. Now I'm cold all the time. But you're right. Yeah. That's absolutely correct. So warming these temperatures up this week into the vicinity of records, not quite getting there, but into the vicinity. And then, as mentioned, that late week cold front shoves out the warmer and brings in the chill. So let's talk about that, the differences in temperatures. because there's a little bit of a notice. This is the high temperature comparison between Friday and Saturday. Alert, danger Will Robinson. It's going to be changing, which means t-shirts and shorts Friday, sweatshirts on Saturday. Just know that. By the way, for planning purposes, I feel like I'm like at a church service here. I will be on sunrise with you on Thursday, Friday. So we're going to be tracking this front as it moves in. Then Saturday, when I see it for sunrise, we're going to be tracking that front in. Okay. So when we chat late this week, I'm off yesterday of work. I'm off today from work so that I could do sunrise on Thursday, Friday. And we're going to be talking cold fronts, people. This hot coffee, it's going to come in handy. No joke. Average high is 74. So we're going to go from, it's kind of funny how this works, right? We're going to be 10 degrees above, boom, 10 degrees below. Yeah, cold front. You got to love cold fronts. And you know, it's still winter in Central Florida, so this is to be expected. But just want to make sure you know. So let's talk temperatures, all right? Let's just look at the we know that late week, we'll start with the 7-day forecast, and then we can expand out, okay? So 78 today, we've established, looks great. Tomorrow, great. Thursday, great. Friday, a few showers, great. Friday, a few showers. Saturday, showers as that front is clearing out. And we'll look at the long-range future cast here in just a little bit to kind of time that out, because Friday and Saturday are showing showers, and we want to really dial that in. Then look at what happens Sunday, Monday, the sun shines. Look at those temperatures, though. Yeah. So the front won't really be through Saturday mornings. I mean, during the day Saturday that front comes through. But don't worry, we'll take a look. Kimberly says, so how cold? Like freezing again? Because I'm over bipolar weather. You live in the wrong state for it. I think most states, though, have pretty wild weather. We need to soak up these 60s and 70s before they are nothing but a distant memory, Chris says. That is true, my friend. And another thing, we're transitioning from La Nina. Remember, we have talked, and this has all been discussed in our hurricane season forecast, looking back to 2022. We were in a triple dip La Nina. That's going away. We're going neutral these next couple of months, and more than likely by the end of hurricane season, getting into an El Nino. Oh, boy, does that change things. Yeah. Enzo playing in. What that means, nugget for the hurricane season forecast, what it probably means is that the beginning of hurricane season will be busier than the end of hurricane season. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, next spring, put your seatbelts on for severe weather season. All right. So that's the 7-day. Let's start dialing in temperatures, all right? Let's do Friday afternoon. And this is all subject to change. You got to know that, right? Like, you know the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? 84 degrees our Friday afternoon temperature in the metro. Look to the south, though. Like the tourist areas, 86. It's going to be warm. 81 degrees in Ocala. That's not bad. And even at the beaches, upper 70s to the lower 80s. That doesn't look bad. It really doesn't look bad, okay? So that's Friday afternoon. That's what we will be discussing when I see on West 2 News Sunrise. Sound good? All right, now let's look at Saturday. First off, starting Saturday morning, it's going to be cool, but it's not going to be like, major change. 40s, 50s, looking good. Through the day, though, you're not really going to be warming much. Highs in the 60s. Yeah. Even some areas with highs in the 50s. Saturday afternoon is going to be one of those blustery kind of days. Yeah, I'm just telling you the truth, okay? Why did Saturday have to be cold, Squires and Joy? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, just know that I'm not the controller of thee. Just know that. I don't want you getting mad at me. All right, so that's Saturday afternoon. Let's look at Sunday. Sunday morning is really when the chill gets here. Are we talking about a freeze? As of right now, it does not look like it. But could we be talking about frost conditions? Yes. Is it going to be chilly? Yes. Orlando 45, 46 in Kissimmee. You get out to Lake County into the lower 40s, but as soon as you get up into Marion, even into Sumter Lake Marion area like the Villages, 39, 39 in Ocala. I could probably see Ocala getting down to 37, even 36. And we'll see how that plays out these next couple of days. Frost may be a thing. Yeah. Nikki, can we see the February long range flying to New York City on the 15th? I want to see if they're in yeah. As long as you know that this is Florida, not New York. When you say you're flying out the 15th, there's some showers, not looking too bad. Yeah. Yeah, this storm system didn't really come together. It developed and moved away pretty quickly, so fine with that. Trending milder, couple of showers Friday, Saturday, that's working out. Okay, yeah, but I do like the fact that this Southeast severe, Florida severe did not play out. Works for me. There was a signal there, but nothing there. But, you know, so that's a bit of a miss. What does the long range look like for March 3rd? A kayak camping trip to the East Coast. Here's your March. We, by the way, just so that you know, we are very much working into the hurricane season forecast. I need to dedicate some time to going back and getting archive satellite data. But yeah, that's we haven't gotten to build graphics yet. That's March, by the way. We haven't gotten to building graphics for the hurricane season yet. Jeremy and I are still going back and forth on features. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're still going back and forth on features, but I've made my feature list. He's working on his feature list. But I can already show you here. You know, he's already texting me days and things. By the way, I just showed you some days. The repeat of Nicole is coming up. The recycle of Nicole is coming up. Let's go look. So what's interesting is if you look, this is the I'm just going to show you, this is the 18Z GFS. That's last night, okay? But if you look around the east coast of Florida, you see this big influx of moisture off the east coast there. Yeah, that's Nicole. If we look at the current 6Z run, it's got some moisture, but it's not going crazy. But at any rate, we're starting to key in on that. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. Are we expecting a hurricane in February? Obviously not. But the recycle of it, where we should see some sort of a version of it, looks like it's coming up. So that should be around the 21st, 22nd, 20th, 21st, somewhere in that range. Yeah, so we'll be watching around February. And that's a part, you know, that's a part of my long range forecast. You know, it's you know, I've got 21st, I've got Florida severe. That's the Nicole part of the pattern. Whether or not it forms off the shoreline or not, but that's my indicator for Nicole. So we'll have to watch and see if something comes to fruition or if it's off the shoreline. Either way, that's the Nicole part of the pattern. Oh my gosh, lots to talk about, people. Lots to talk about. Lots of work ahead. Yep. Squire's enjoying. Never mad at you, just mad at Florida because it's bipolar. It has nothing better to do. It can't be perfect all the time. Otherwise, I mean, you see everybody moving here now. If Florida weather was perfect all the time, we'd have a real problem on our hands. More so than You're just struggling with, places for people to live to begin with. I don't know. Maybe. What can I say? So that's the forecast. Nice stretch of weather next couple of days. Friday, Saturday, there is some moisture moving in. So let's do this, shall we? Let's take a look at today's Tuesday. I don't know if our futurecast, we may have to go low ray is futurecast. But let's just see if futurecast's kind of extended range goes out that far. It doesn't. Yeah, it goes out to like Friday at 1 a.m. But you can see here, Thursday, it's showing a few showers in the area, right? So we already see that. So there's that. All right. So let's dial up a lower resolution version of it, okay? So some showers for Thursday. Here's Friday, though. You can see Friday morning doesn't look to be too bad, but Friday afternoon is when that front moves in. It largely weakens as it moves into our area, but obviously through Saturday morning, the model's still showing showers around, and then by Saturday afternoon it clears. So it looks like Saturday's probably going to be at least as things look right now, Saturday looks to be a pretty crummy weather day. Right? There's 2 p.m. It's not like it's nasty storms, but it's showers and dropping temperatures. Brian asks, Eric, I don't understand what you mean by a recycle of a previous tropical storm hurricane. Can you please explain what you were talking about in the simplest terms possible? Sure. So, all right. So, Brian, obviously you're new, and that's fine. So there's something that I do every year, and you're going to have to excuse the graphics because they're dated. I haven't updated them yet. I do a hurricane season forecast. All right, so here's how it works. Obviously, I have not updated this graphic in a while. The forecast, we'll use this one. The forecast is based on the idea behind the forecast is that there are yearly patterns that set up. They set up in October and November. So what you do is you really study the weather in October and November, because it's a whole new weather pattern. And the theory here behind this is that every year it establishes a new weather pattern, and then it repeats over and over and over and over. So the exact same weather pattern plays out over and over and over again, Brian. So what it allows me to do, and Brian, this is one of those things, I've done TV weather. I've been in the television weather game for 22 years. This has absolutely re-sparked my passion. Not that it was going, but you do something long enough and it's kind of like you just start going stale. This has absolutely refired it. So what it allows you to do is it allows you to see what has happened, and as soon as you figure out how long the cycle is, until it recycles and until it recycles. And once you key in on that cycle duration, you can look ahead. So here's a good example. Let me just show you the 2022 hurricane season forecast, okay? This is what we put out last year. Okay, this was our hurricane forecast for last year. All right, when we came out March 1st of 2022, we said there were two main hotspots, Florida and the Carolinas. Okay? We said the Gulf Coast would be fine. Now, where did the actual landfalls hit? Let's just take a look. On that same graphic, I'm just going to add the paths of all the storms. It's going to take the computer a second to go get the data. So there's that forecast. Let's just give it a second to go. There were the landfalls last year. To say that I've had success with this is an understatement. This is a real thing. Nobody else in town is doing it. My mentor across the street thinks I'm crazy, but the proof is in the pudding, y'all. It's this new new meteorological theory that that's been around. It's been around for 20, 30 years, but it's different than what most meteorologists are doing, and some like it, some don't. I don't really care. I like it. I have battle tested it. It's there. Brian, I'm not new. I just don't understand the terms. Got it. So essentially, think of it like first version. Okay, so like this is obviously Ian. That was a part of the old year. But this line here, that's Nicole. That was part of the new pattern. So we know that kind of trajectory is going to happen over and over and over again as it recycles. We know that. So that's what we look for, right? It's fascinating. It really, 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 it's just like Groundhog Day. And doesn't it make sense that everything is cyclical, right? Doesn't it make sense that everything, it's like your parents would tell you, what goes around comes around. That plays out very much so right here. So, yeah, it's fascinating. I do not deserve a Nobel Prize. Thank you, Destiny. I don't, though. But I'll just take a hug. That's all. I appreciate it. So yeah. So I can't even believe we're less than a month away. March the 1st. And here's a hint, by the way, y'all. There have been a lot of lows around Florida recently. Let that one sink in. I always do that too. When we get closer and closer to the forecast, and as I'm working on it, I always drop like little hints. Last year, the hints that I dropped were pretty similar to what I'm dropping this year. Last year, I kept saying things like, Florida had some lows, meaning Florida is going to get hit. And I'm kind of saying the same thing this year. What? It's too early. It's too early to get into specificity, but we'll get there. March the 1st. Mark your calendars. March the 1st, I'm going to have Jeremy Nelson on Coffee Talk that day. We're going to be discussing all about it. We're going to be discussing hurricane season and discussing how it plays in for us. Yeah. Janet, so if it's cyclical, does Brevard get one this year based on Nicole? Janet, I'm going to tell you just in the most simplest terms, Brevard's going to at least have something interesting around. You've got to remember there's ebbs and flows in a river. Over time, a river's exact course changes and adjusts. And so that's kind of the idea with the LRC, is that every cycle it could be a little different. But listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You're probably going to have some fun. And when I say fun, I mean not fun this season. There have been a lot of lows in the area. Good times. Not. Yvette says, it's impressive how spot on your long-range forecasting is. It's so interesting. I like to tell everybody I wasn't smart enough to find this science, but I'm smart enough to do my homework into it and to utilize it, Terry says, so these areas are a magnet for future hurricanes as well. Yeah, because within that cycle, you get into hurricane season, and these storm systems are going to follow those patterns. And it's fascinating. I've case studied Hurricane Andrew. I've case studied Hurricane Charlie. Case studied Hurricane Harvey. There's a lot of these. What's so nice is all the weather data historically is available online. So in the off season, it's good to go back and case study. And it's not just hurricanes. I mean, it's winter storms. Like, you could go back and find a good blizzard and go back and case study it. You know what I mean? So it's fascinating. A lot of lows around Florida, y'all. A lot of lows around Florida. Another thing that I think is fascinating, let me just show you this. 2020, we remember, was the busiest hurricane season, period, right? We remember 2020 was the busiest hurricane season on record. This was our forecast. If I'd have told you in 2020 that Florida was not going to get hit, Would you have believed me? I wouldn't have believed me. But there you go. Busiest season. Also, pretty much all inside. There was that one. You just kept going north, you putz. You were just a little too far east. But other than that, there's your 2020. So, yeah, it's all fascinating stuff. Look, nothing's perfect. But that's what I love is when people are like, well, but it's not perfect. Bro, you know what else isn't perfect? This. So, it's my job to forecast. Whoopsie daisy. Brian, Eric, do you set your personal hurricane predictions based on Colorado State University and the National Hurricane Center? Do you do totally own methods, Brian? Yeah. My hurricane season forecast is totally different methodology. I'm not knocking what anybody else does. At the end of the day, that's the thing. I hope that I could explain. I hope that if there's one thing that I explain, it's that there's different science is always evolving. It's kind of like you go to the doctor, you're diagnosed. You go to another doctor, you get a second opinion. It's there. That is called a practice. And I think that meteorology is no different. Different forecasting uses different methodology, and that's totally okay. Some are going to be more right than others, and sometimes, it's all good. So, it's totally different methodology than what Colorado State uses. I mean, not total. Like, we use all the same data, but I use other methods. There's some overlap, I guess you could say. Yeah. Tiffany, more than just a basic weatherman. I prefer basic meteorologist. Yeah, I don't want to be just a talking head. That I will never be. I will never just be and here's your forecast for today. Today's forecast includes sunshine and a high temperature of 78 degrees. Tomorrow we'll have a high temperature of 80. You're going to get a little sauce from me, and you're going to get a whole lot of long-range meteorology. Sometimes I'm going to be right. Sometimes I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to do the best I can. That's all. But if I was living in Florida, which I do, I would be planning for a fairly active hurricane season here in Florida. Oh, crud. I'm telling you that on the 7th of February. Now, the end of hurricane season, I think the end of hurricane season, as we get into an El Nino, it's going to wind down. But Florida seems to be a little eager to have some lows around us this year. Laura says we love when the sassiness comes out. Thank you. Hi, thank you. Mickey on YouTube says the LRC is so fascinating to me. Me too. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate it. Janet says we learned from you. Thank you. And I learned from you. Oh boy. Kelly says you're making this way too easy for me to make sarcastic comments to you. I need more of a challenge. I just haven't had enough coffee. I'm tired. Thank you, Arch. We love you anyway. Oh well. Nancy says, thank you. Enjoy your day off. Oh, I'm going to spend the time with Dad. And you know what I'm doing? Can I just tell you? All right. So what am I doing on my day off? Taking Dad to lunch. We're going to go over to one of the Disney resorts. That'll be so much fun. And then I'm picking up the weather lab because I have a STEM night tonight. I'm terrible at taking days off. Oh, well. I'm terrible at it. By the way, is it Winter Springs Elementary School? Is that where tonight's is? I've got 2 STEM nights this week. Winter Springs Elementary STEM night. So if you live around Winter Springs Elementary, you've got little ones that are interested, we'll be out there with the weather lab. And then I think it's Lake Nona on Thursday night. I have to check. Oy vey. Oy vey. I could not believe the person on Twitter the other day knocking. Oh, Tina, thank you. Listen, if there weren't trolls, what would the internet be? Just a bunch of adult content and news? You got to have some trolls. Good gravy. I try to learn from you, and then I stop paying attention. I get it. I get it. Are tornadoes somewhat predictable with the LRC? Mickey, believe it or not, yes-ish. You can look for scenarios where the atmosphere favors severe weather. A good case in point was Ian last year. I'm using rain, but it can be applied on all facets. Ian, if you looked at the first version of Ian, it was just an area of low pressure, but it dumped 6 inches of rain in Volusia County. So that particular part of the pattern had a lot of water. And we saw in Ian, we got, a ton of water. There was the Kentucky tornado last year, the Kentucky tornado outbreak. If you look at the Kentucky tornado outbreak, a cycle before, tornado in almost the same spot. A cycle before, tornado in almost the same spot. So yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things. Yeah. Beth, what is a STEM lab? It's like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's like a night where, and elementary schools are kind of doing this a little more and more. They have a night where just a bunch of people from the community come in and bring stuff for kids to see and expand their minds. At least that's the idea. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. All right, so that's it. That's where we're at. By the way, there's our 7-day forecast just while we're chatting. Melanie Hart caught your one-man anchor show this weekend. Great job. You are the total package. Melanie, thank you. Melanie Hart, and I've said this and I will say this until the day I go. Melanie Hart was always so kind to me when I was was I 16, 17, maybe I was 18. I was an intern over at another television station. Melanie worked there. I had interests in graphics. I had interests in nerding out, and Melanie helped me. Helped me learn. I got to fill in for her. Now I do graphics for 26 TV stations. Yeah, this weekend I got to anchor. Yeah. Tina, when are you at Lake Nona Elementary? I believe it's Thursday night. I have to check. I have to double check. Yeah. So anyway, Winter Springs Elementary tonight. I believe it's Thursday night. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day, y'all. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you at 3:30 for the afternoon Coffee Talk. And maybe I'll see you tonight at Winter Springs Elementary for STEM night. Sound good? All right. Bye, y'all.